I'm not sure if I'm going to upload this video. Let me tell you one thing. Bipolar people, schizophrenic people, and all these people with mental disorders. Let me tell you one thing. To exalt oneself that we've read in the Bible and heard, that God has delivered us a personal message, I believe it's true. Regardless of who you may think that God is, we live in a system. Because we don't understand the system and we react to the system, we become psychologically imbalanced. We don't understand it, we get afraid of it, and we follow what the doctor says. The doctor says, I think this is going to help. Why don't you try this? There might be a side effect. Why don't you try that? We'll make a concoction until your whole body is so screwed up, you'll walk into walls. I was taking 1,500 milligrams, and my doctor said to me, that's okay. They learned a little bit more about the drug, and now we can take 1,500. I was waking up with a lost head. Where am I? Where am I? I'm not anywhere. Oh my God. I take my hand, I put it on a friend of mine, he says, don't worry. I'm right next to you. Goes away. Walk into the doctor's office, says, you smoking that weed? You're going to end up in the hospital. No positive. Negative. 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 We must exalt ourselves. We must exalt ourselves. I went from a White House. I walked out of the White House and I painted my house. I exalted myself. And I painted and I painted. And I painted on canvas, and I painted on paper, and I painted on walls. I painted on the ceilings, I painted on the floor, and I painted a design. There's no design like this in the world, and this design is all over the world. It's just that nobody's ever seen it this way before. Room to room, wall to wall, ceiling to ceiling. Books, writing, what we think. We need the time. We need the time. And alone it is very difficult. This one says this, and that one says that. Why don't you try this? Why are you doing that? You shouldn't be doing this. You're always getting knocked down. Bipolar, schizophrenic, or just a regular Joe on the street. We want too much and we're not satisfied. What's life all about is the question. Because we don't understand what life is about in the question. There is another world after this. Is there not? Isn't that what the Bible says? If you don't do this, you're going to go to hell. Now you're starting to think about that. You're going to go to hell because of what the Bible says. Because you become schizophrenic, bipolar. Now you're starting to think of the Bible. You're starting to think of Torah. You're starting to think of Quran. You're starting to think of everybody's watching you, that nobody's watching you, that everybody cares, that nobody cares. Because you're not sure, you have no directive. You have to take it into your own hand and you have to believe in something. And I believe in the reality that there is another life. I believe that we are connected matrix. I believe that the islands and bridges that we have right here on this planet are only sitting in the middle of the sky. We are in the middle of the sky. We are nowhere and we are everywhere. Why? What did they do? They brought the ocean underneath us. And they shoved an ocean underneath us. From two sides. They shoved oceans. You think the ocean is upside down with their magnets? Rotation. Is that the way an apple is made? There's the low side and the high side of the apple. This would be your equator. We're living on the eaten part. East and west is the way we drive. Time heaven. Does the bunny rabbit hop up and down with his ears, or is it time heaven? We don't know, and we're confused because we're alone. They knocked you down. Nothing is good enough for anybody, and nobody really has any directive for themselves other than to go have a beer, to go out and have a good time, and have what reflection do we have? Everybody's turning towards us, for us, and against us at the same time. There is so much judgment in the world, everybody becomes confused. 25% of this, 25% of that, 25% of that, 25% of that. Two groups of 25%, and you're confused because that's 50%. 54, 50 against. The hardest thing in the world is half and half. We need to break everything up into parts. Is it better to be parts and whole? Yes. Everyone for good, go on this side, and we don't care what kind of bad you are, just go away. But without understanding the evil, good doesn't exist. It's not good enough. But I tried as hard as I could, but you didn't try hard enough. I have colored pencils and pens. I have books, not one book. I have enough books for 3 to 4 months. I don't want to run out of a book in case I have an idea. What good is my idea without a book? Thank God that this happened to me when the computers were around, because 4,000 videos later, I'm documenting everything I think. And the more I think and the more I write, the more I remember, the more that I piece it together, piece by piece. Mistake. Mistake. Oh, it's okay, I missed it. I'll take another take on it. You think there's brains in this world? I brought my 2 brains with me. Right here. I've got 2 judgment with these brains. See the way they're divided, these brains? See that? I got my wheel. Get my hair on top of that. There you go. I got my own roof. You see that? No one can see my brains now. Thank God. Well, look at that. One of the sides lifted up. But no one would know. No one would know. I covered it up with my fiber optic hair. My fiber optic hair. You remember Neil Anderson? They put all those little needles in him so he can feel his body again. Because our bodies, reality speaks. What is our body? Where are we connected? What do we feel? What are we feeling? What is the negative? What is the AC/DC? Are they taking it on the way out or on the way in? They changed the colors around so we'd see reality, but the color wouldn't be real. You put green over red, it turns dark. It almost turns black. So if they take the information on the way out, the computer picks it up as false information. But at least they didn't change the spirit coming in. So only you can know the difference when it comes back at you. Oh, I've seen this again. Sure, they tried it again on you. A double take. In, out, AC, DC. I don't know which way it is. I have no idea. I just know there's a lot of numbers that I have to put together. Raphael 7286 in a constellation of Pegasus. My old brains or my new brains? Thank you for watching.